Welcome to Burning Bright, a weekly podcast presenting poetry and prose from Passenger. In 1967, UNESCO designated September 8th International Literacy Day to remind people that literacy is more than just a basic skill, but a pathway to personal empowerment, social inclusion, and economic progress. A lot of Passenger writers have talked about how important reading was in their homes when they were growing up. On this edition of Burning Bright, 3 pieces about reading and literature. Bonnie Naradzay said that her poem Reading Dante was inspired by a course she took at St. John's College Graduate Institute. She said she wrote her poem in tercets to mirror Dante's writing. A tercet, by the way, is a group of 3 lines, either that rhyme or that connect by rhyme with an adjacent tercet. Unable to discern my way through the darkling woods, how do you even know you're lost? Lured by ancient travelers, I'm reading the Inferno, imagining Virgil at my side. I knit my brows the way old tailors do when bending over threaded needles in the gloom, and read this marked-up copy, my daughter's text from high school days, gleaning what she underlined. I find her penciled comment, "The journey's universal." Later she writes, "What you don't see is often more important than what you see." And then I see Ulysses in the flames, and read where Virgil intercedes, telling Dante not to speak, since Homer's Odysseus speaks classical Greek. Why does his restless search enthrall me so? Ovid, himself an exile, seized on what Tiresias foretold, while Dante continued the story where Ovid ceased, after Ulysses set out to sea. Who guides a pilgrim to the good, and what's the way to virtue and wisdom? Ulysses heads for the sun as it sinks in the west. I still mourn his ending. In Auschwitz, Primo Levi speaks to his friend Pikna about the Inferno, and struggles to recall the lines he learned in school. Ulysses' finest speech, when the aging king exhorts his men to take the oars again. "Listen," says Levi, in a terrible hurry to deliver the soup, cabbage, and turnips that day. Feeling the sea close over his head, Levi reaches the pillars of wisdom and quotes, "For you were not formed to live the life of brutes." From Passenger, Issue 61, Reading Dante, Bonnie Naradzay. Danuta Kosk-Kosicka said that her poem, The Book She Remembers, was inspired by her best friend's ability to guess what book Danuta was trying to recall. She doesn't recall the title, the author, a famous one perhaps. The book is thick. There is a woman. The plot unfolds. In her head, something changes. Down the spiral steps to the library. She reappears with a book. The cover features footprints that stop at a staircase. Letters in 2 languages. A half-open gate. Danuta Kosk-Kosicka's poem, The Book She Remembers, also from Passenger's Summer 2016 issue. Michael Pikna said his short story Just a Moment was inspired by his sister, who did a lot of babysitting for her younger siblings. Here are some excerpts. One Saturday evening in late spring, when Olivia was 6, her mother and father told her that they were going out for coffee, and leaving her in charge of her brothers, that they would be back soon. She felt as helpless as her brothers. "I'm only 6, she thought, though she didn't say anything, because she didn't want to disappoint them. They worked very hard and deserved some time to themselves. At least that's what her father said to her mother. Before they went out the door, Petra in her arms and Patrick beside her, her father turned to her and said, "Nevi chazeta jdomu. Don't leave the house." Olivia said nothing. Her parents, especially her father, always had the final say. The sound of the door clicking shut behind them did not scare her. It was when she heard their car driving away. the tether of its sound ultimately broken by the limits of her hearing. She looked at Patrick, her fear clearly reflected in his eyes. She looked at Petra, who blinked at her, then puckered his face, took a deep breath, and let loose a squall, a non-stop caterwauling assault. Later she sat at the table with The Cow Who Fell in the Canal open in front of her, a book her father sometimes read to her at night in his thickly accented but workable English. Today she felt much older than she did yesterday, wondering at the sad cow's silliness instead of delighting in her escapades. "Stupid cow," she said, glancing obliquely at her father. Her father, catching the glance, smiled. "The farmer," he said, shaking his head. "He should be watching out for her." Yes, it was the farmer's fault, she thought. Surely the farmer would take better care in the years to come. It was just a moment of quiet contentment, during which the benevolent angle of the afternoon light, the soothing aroma of evasion coming from the stove, and the shifting of passionate orbits into a peaceful alignment, argued in favor of these thoughts. She almost believed them. Excerpt from Michael Pikna's story Just a Moment, that appeared in Passager's Winter 2024 issue. To subscribe to or learn more about Passager and its commitment to writers over 50, go to PassagerBooks.com. Passager offers a 25% discount on the books and journal issues featured here on Burning Bright. Visit our website to see what's on sale this week. For Kendra, Mary, Christine, Roseanne, and the rest of the Passager staff, I'm John Shore.